Welcome, everyone, to episode 411 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
I'm Will.
Corey.
Today's topic is going to be Felseal Arbiter's Mark. This is a tactical Final Fantasy Tactics-esque RPG that Corey found and recommended all of us, and we've since played quite a bit. I know Will and Corey ended up playing quite a bit more than I did, but I played a decent amount myself, so that's going to be our main topic for this week. Does anyone have anything they want to tease for later on in the episode?
Man, I don't think so.
No.
Pokemon Sword and Shield direct news from this morning. We'll be talking about later on in the episode. A lot of nibble bits, some pre-E3 stuff to talk about. I also played Outer Wilds, which I will talk briefly about because I would like to do an episode on it. So that'll be during what we played. Also, Val's going to come down at some point and give her impressions of the three most recent Rookie Camp games she did, which were Inside, Fallout 4, and Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, which we played together on this most recent episode of Rookie Camp. So, yeah. So that's going to be later on. Let's get into our main segment on Felseal Arbiter's Mark. Now, Corey, first of all, I want to know how you came across this game. And what made you decide to buy it ultimately, because it wasn't I had never heard of it, and we usually like to keep on the up and up on indie games in general, but also this type of game that I feel like that's been lacking.
So one thing that motivates me to purchase a game is time. If I know I have a lot of time coming up, or a weekend I know I'm going to be home, the wallet's a little bit looser. And that happened a few weeks ago at this point, maybe a month ago at this point. I'm not sure. I think the game came out at the end of April or middle of April. I honestly have no idea.
I think it was in April.
Yeah,
it was the end of April, I'm pretty sure.
But I had a free weekend around the time it came out. And the way I try to figure out which games to purchase is I start with Steam. I'll go to Steam and look at the new and trending games and see what's going on there, see if anything jumps out at me. Usually it's I mean, this isn't the best way to do it, and it's probably not the most fair, but speaking of time, like, it's the most efficient way for me to figure out what I want to buy is I just look at the Steam score, and if it's 80 or above and I like everything I see, then I'll go and maybe read a review or two, watch some gameplay videos, and then from there I'll make the purchase. I very rarely do that for a full-priced game. That takes a little bit more convincing.
That's why I was surprised that you had bought it, because it's new. Usually we wait for a sale for that sort of thing. I don't do much window shopping for video games unless they're steeply discounted. But yeah, that's why I wanted to know what your thought process was for buying it, because I was surprised. You were like, "Hey guys, this game looks kind of cool," and then a few hours later, I think you told us that you had bought it. So
yeah, I mean, it checked all the boxes. It's looked like a Final Fantasy Tactics game. Mm-hmm. Rip-off's not the right word. What's the tribute?
No. Yeah, tribute, spiritual successor type of thing.
Yeah, right. Like tribute, spiritual successor.
Right, and that was very obvious from the gameplay videos that I watched. So, and from there, like, the Steam scores, I think were in the 90s, and then OpenCritic had it like the 6th best rated game of the year so far, or something like that. So I was like, all right, I gotta do this. Mm-hmm. And it was a mid-tier, $25 game or $30 game.
I think it's 30.
Yeah, I think it was 30.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad.
Okay.
Money well spent.
Yeah, I agree. So far, I like what I played. So let's talk about it, because you bought it, convinced us to buy it. What are your thoughts so far?
I really like it. It has that addictive quality that I like in games nowadays. Mm-hmm. And I always say, whether it's manipulating me into being addicted to it or whether I just like it so much, either way works for me. The goal for me is just to kind of get lost in something, and this game's really good at that. I think as much as I love the gameplay and the character customization, I think that's the bread and butter of the game. I found myself really disinterested in the story, especially towards the end. I tried to follow it in the beginning, mm-hmm. But it never really hooked me. And then towards the end, I just I'll still read what the characters are saying, but I'm not really processing what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got that's, again, talking about Final Fantasy Tactics. That was always kind of my thing too. Like, I never really understood the story or what was happening, other than a few odds and ends of the story I would pick up here and there. but it was more about the gameplay, and that's what was fun, and mastering the classes and learning the intricacies of the systems and stuff.
And one thing I think that separates Final Fantasy Tactics is I'm with you. Like the story was a little hard to follow, but that game had likable characters. I feel like Felseal is missing that too.
Yeah.
There's no characters I feel endeared to or that I really care about. There was one that I started being interested in, but then I don't know. The story just kind of passed me by and I stopped caring. But and I think the reason for that is all the characters in Felseal have a very similar voice in that their dialogue is all the same.
Yeah.
One character could be saying something, but it's written in such a way that it sounds like it could be coming from any of the other characters, with the exception of a couple that do have a unique voice. But it's just a lot of the conversing is very basic.
Similar. Yeah, it's very similar.
I could see that.
So that's my 10,000 foot view, but I do really love the customization. The character abilities are a little bit thinner than they are in Final Fantasy Tactics, but part of me likes that because I mean I've mastered 4 or 5 classes for all of my characters at this point. Just by as soon as they master, move on to the next one. I don't spend any time like just sitting on a mastered class just because it works really well. I'll just immediately jump out of the next thing just to see what kind of cool combinations I can come up with. So that's really fun. And the items, they do a really good job with the items.
Yeah, I definitely prefer the item system in this one than Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
We'll probably keep using that as a baseline because it's the most similar to Final Fantasy Tactics. So.
Yeah. And I was trying to think like other games that have similar types of gameplay, and I don't think any of them come even close to the quality of the combat that Final Fantasy Tactics does. And I was thinking of games like Massive Chalice, which kind of had something like that. The strategic hex or square grid. I don't even remember what system they used. And then I was thinking of like the Banner Saga, but those I don't know, those matches just there was no ebb and flow of battle, which is something Felseal does really well and happened a lot in Final Fantasy Tactics. Like I can't tell you how many times I had one miss that just ruined my game in Felseal.
I've already had that too, so I'm with you.
Which is frustrating, but it fortunately, unlike what's that, XCOM, it works both ways in that I've had some really fortunate hits that have turned the tide of battle fully for me. So I really like that aspect of it. Will, sounded like you were about to say something.
I was actually gonna make a comment. When you get a little bit later in the game, some of the fights get pretty difficult, in my opinion. So I've had moments where I have it under control, and I'm like about to kill a character who's like really tough and giving me a hard time, and I'll miss, and then it's just like a avalanche of just bad luck for me the rest of that round, and I end up losing that fight. So it's funny you say that one miss can really just wreck your whole game, because I've had that happen a lot to me today because I put a lot of time into it today.
Yeah, and it is at times frustrating too, because it does feel like if it's 85% or higher chance of hitting, it feels like it only hits 50% of the time.
Yep. Yeah, that seems like a very low percentage.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is
that's kind of a staple of RNG though, isn't it? I mean, I just didn't feel like that ever happened in Final Fantasy Tactics. If it was 95%, you were gonna hit 95 times out of 100.
Well, who knows? Maybe they had a bug in their code, and it was actually like 95 meant 100%.
Yeah, it could be.
But I don't know. I don't even know if that's necessary, because Mario Rabbids did similar gameplay without doing that. It was, what was it, 0%, 50%, and 100%?
I think so. Yeah, I think you had a 50% chance in cover. 100% chance if they were out, and then 0% chance if they were behind full cover.
Perfect.
So I think part of the problem is our mindset, because I think when I see 85% hit, in my head I'm like, that's 100, that's gonna hit. There is a slight chance it will miss, so it sticks out in your head because you're like, oh, this is definitely gonna hit. I have a really high percentage. So when you do miss, you get livid. As I always do, and I'm like, okay, I guess there is a 15% chance that I do miss, so okay.
I'm actually in the opposite boat where I assume 80 to 85 is going to miss. It's not a high enough percentage for me, and I adjust my strategy accordingly.
You like, all right, I'm probably gonna miss this, so you have a backup strategy.
It's the poor luck thing too, that
Yeah.
factors into all of this. So, one of the things I do like too is the multi-classing. I think is done really well in this game.
Yep.
Because you just you pick the abilities of a second class, whichever one that you have any abilities for, you just plunk it down there and you have those abilities to use. It's really easy. Also, the classes are very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually gonna bring that up. Yeah, what I like most about the game is how unique a lot of the classes are, because you have your staple kind of like Mender being the white mage, the wizard being the black mage, but you also have some really cool ones like the Fell Blade, where you just apply magic to your blade that can do debuffs to the enemy. The War Mage, which I've been running Kyrie, who's the main character, as a War Mage, and Marked, and like she's a powerhouse. So it's like you can do a lot of really cool combinations, and not to spoil it, but there's badge classes that I'm not going to talk about, but like some of them are really cool what they can do.
Yeah.
So you can really customize the characters, and it's a really cool thing that they did in this game.
Yeah, not just classes, but when you recruit a soldier from the guild, you get to customize their outfit, their hat, their look. You can have them wear either the class armor or just a custom outfit that you want. It's up to you, which is also very cool.
Did you guys roll everybody with the same team color?
No, I changed mine up a little bit.
Yeah, I did. At a certain point, I switched them all to be white.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine were purple. That's what I went with.
Yeah.
Nice. It's cool that you can do that. I like that a lot.
It just kind of helps you keep track of them on the battlefield a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Werewolf class? Has anyone played a werewolf?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just got to the point where one of my characters could be a werewolf. So I haven't actually tried it out yet, but
I don't know if
kind
it's
of neat.
I don't know if it's the werewolf class that's sucky, but my werewolf guy is really sucky.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he gets killed like first hit almost every time.
Oh boy. Glass cannon, is that what it is? Maybe.
Yeah, but he doesn't do enough damage to really even give him that label.
Okay.
The werewolf is supposed to be like kind of like a berserker unit. It's supposed to do a lot of damage, but can die pretty easily because it's got a little bit lower on the defensive.
Okay.
At least that's what the werewolf I was using for a bit, how I played him. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's one thing I noticed about this game too. That's a little bit different from Final Fantasy Tactics is the importance of debuffs and buffs.
Oh my god.
You can't really I guess there are strategies where you can, but in Tactics you would just like focus on one character and just try to take them out as quickly as possible. Whereas in this game you can't really do that because you can't do enough damage in a short enough time period, and there's a lot of healing on the other end too.
Yeah, a lot more healing, a lot more using potions, a lot more even reviving dead characters too.
Yeah, I would argue that the artificial intelligence in this game is far superior to Tactics, because there is a little bit of strategy involved. Even the way I notice the enemies positioning themselves, like leaving an open spot for me to come and attack, only for me not to realize that the reason they did that is so that they can shove me off a cliff or shove me into water or stuff like that. It's just smart little things like that you would have never seen in Final Fantasy Tactics that I really like.
Yeah. I mean, it was a long time ago, but the AI was kind of dumb. In a lot of cases, like you had to have a character near death, and the enemy would leave them alone to go hit another character that's almost full health, and you just don't see that in Felseal. They'll execute you, and every time, you can't leave that sort of stuff to chance in this one.
And the way that I play these types of games is I like to make a really powerful team that can just wipe the floor really quickly. So I almost never go for buffs and debuffs and stuff like that. So I've been having a hard time. There was that one fight that I talked about earlier, Corey, in our group chat, where I just could not do it because it was just so unfair with how much the other team was buffing me or buffing themselves, debuffing me with some of their abilities. I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to beat this, but I was able to finally pull it off. So I've had to kind of adjust what I do a little bit to make me a little bit more able to get through this game, which I think I just beat, by the way.
Nice.
Oh, all right. Congrats.
Thank you. I saw credits at least. I don't know if there's anything else after the dialogue, but
Who knows? I guess we'll
Yeah.
find out. You can tell us live if
yeah.
there's anything else. Yeah. So I mean, my first experience with the game was watching Corey play on Twitch after he had bought it and had told us to play it. And I think the thing that stood out to me the most at first was the art style. I think we didn't make fun of it, but we thought the character models looked a little weird. They moved kind of woodenly like marionettes, which was a little weird at first. But after I ended up really liking the art style, and I like how flexible it is. Like I said, with being able to customize the looks of your troops and stuff. So I ended up really liking the art style. The music is really good too. The battle music. I'll get the typical battle theme stuck in my head after playing long hours.
They really did, like, they cared. They put the polish in all the right places to hit the nostalgia notes for Felseal. You can tell that they grew up loving Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yes, I should say the developer it's 1C Games, I believe.
Yeah.
Six Eyes. 1C is the publisher. 6 Eyes is the developer.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff.
They another thing I really like about the game that a lot of more modern strategy RPGs just fail miserably at is the map design.
Yeah.
There are some really cool maps. Just the layout and the way you can use the layout to your advantage or your disadvantage. I also really love how there's components that you can collect on the maps and treasure
I forgot
chests
about that.
that can be difficult to get to, but are usually really rewarding. Sometimes they require a little bit of character customization. Like I found one that was suspended all by itself, like in a pool of poison, that you just kind of you have to get floating boots in order to go and open that treasure chest, which I don't think I have found yet. So I'm anxious to see what's in there, because usually those things have some pretty cool items in it. And it's just another fun layer to combat. So after you beat a node, it opens up for you to do a patrol, which is just basically like an exhibition that you can still get experience for and grind out some levels, but gives you a reason to go back and do that to get those treasure chests, because those items are usually pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to talk about crafting too, because that's another obviously new addition from the Final Fantasy Tactics games. But you even craft upgrades to your items, which I talked about liking the item system. In this one, you just have every mission, instead of needing to micromanage your items in addition to everything else, you just have, when you start a battle, you have the amount, however many items that you're supposed to have at the start of a battle, and you upgrade them. So you upgrade their effectiveness, but you also upgrade uses with the components like you talked about that you find from killing enemies. And I think that's a really good system. It's, less every time you go into a town buying 50 healing potions. You just don't worry about it,
Yeah. Which, incidentally, one of the strongest abilities I think in the game is the peddler's, what is it called? Patented usage.
Oh yeah.
Haven't played that character
so
yet.
it's an ability the peddler has that allows them to use items as area of effect. So towards late game, you can get a potion that heals like 300 or 500 or 999 damage, and if you use patented usage, you can use it on, all characters in a five area cross.
That's awesome.
Area cross.
Yeah, see, that sort of stuff opens up, neat combos, like all the different things that the characters can do. Because you talked about the peddler, I think, was it last week or 2 weeks ago when you were on, and how they lay traps all over the place for enemies. I finally came across an enemy peddler, and I just unlocked it myself. That's pretty cool.
Even the reactionary abilities, like it's so smart. You think, like, back in the tactics days, like the best one was just counter,
yeah,
or Hamado, the one that attacks before the enemy attacks. But in this game, like, my best trigger ability is slow. So I have my main warrior that goes out on the front lines that everybody's always attacking. Their counter is slow. So every time that character is attacked, it's countering with slow on all the enemies, and really just putting a damper on their initiative.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah, it's working out pretty well. And I mean, that's just the strategy I came up with. There's so many others out there. I just really love how well that part of the game came together.
Yeah. I also like that there isn't permadeath in the game.
Yep.
So I always almost restarted battles a lot of times when I would lose a character to, especially a character that I had a long time in Final Fantasy Tactics. If they died, I would scrub and start over if I could. There's not that in this game. They just get knocked out of the battle with an injury. How long do injuries last? It seems like a long time, but I have a couple characters with 2 or 3 injuries, so.
You need one battle. So every one battle of them not participating cures one injury.
Oh, okay. Of them not participating, that's the key thing there. Because I would bring some of them are on my more main characters. Like I think Anodyne has 2 injuries because she had just started a new class and was not very powerful. So, yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure what the drawback is. I know they regenerate mana slower. If they have an injury in battle,
their stats are lowered too.
Yeah, all their stats are lower.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll have to sideline them for a couple patrols.
Yeah. Another tip: definitely buy some characters. Only because, as we're talking about, like when your characters start building up injuries, it's nice to have a fresh roster that you can just slot in and out without having to go and grind just to get rid of some injuries.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really had to grind. I did a couple times just because I wanted to unlock some cool abilities before some difficult battles. But if you just keep I think my roster is 12 characters. If you just keep a steady roster of that size, you can keep just cycling characters in and out, and it kind of makes it more fun too because you get to experiment with different combinations more.
Yeah, so I actually had like maybe 9 characters that I would cycle through and use. So like when a couple guys got hurt, and I don't know, I don't like using the same classes over and over again, so I like to have the variety in the team too to make it a little bit more interesting. Yeah. But real quick, Corey, I wanted to bring it back to the map design because I loved the map design, and when I played a game like Banner Saga, the maps were just so boring.
Bad,
There's never flat, nothing to it. With this, when I played it, I was worried that there was going to be maps like that. And I'm really happy that there's actually a lot of variety and cool designs. There's elevation, stuff like that, because it makes the character like the gunner so much more fun to use, because you can have my female gunner, like I would just have the height advantage thing where it does more damage the higher that she was, with the assassin ability where you dual wield. So like I would just shoot 2 bullets and like do 300 damage like for a basic attack, and like that was just a really cool combo that you can do. Because
just to add to that, if you give your character, I forget what they're called, the void boots or something like that, they can basically teleport any height. So they could just immediately jump to the top of a tower and cause a ton of damage.
There is a badge class that ignores all that too, which is a passive ability, which is really cool and makes that class a lot of fun to use as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that far to unlock all that cool stuff.
There's a lot of really cool and unique stuff that you can do in the game.
And there's side stuff that the game doesn't really call attention to that's pretty cool too. Like I just was wandering around the map and I ended up finding some random occurrences that happened that the game didn't call attention to it in any way. It's just because I was exploring that I found them. Found some pretty cool side quests to do, which was fun. I hope they could do more with this game. I can't imagine it's a one-off. I think I don't know how it's been selling, but I think it's what's the word? Reverberating pretty well with people that like this kind of game.
Yeah, it's got a good review or a good rating on Steam right now.
Yeah.
It seems like the ending that I got, which is the first one, there's I guess 2. It seems like they're set up for a sequel.
There's multiple endings?
Yeah.
Ooh, what can you do in game to influence the ending?
I'm not 100% sure. One thing I know, I'm actually looking right now because I'm not sure, but the stone tablet thing that you got one of?
Yeah. The henge tablet or henge
Yeah,
fragment.
Yeah, you need the other three to do, and something happens where you have something that'll help you with the final fight that can help
Gotcha. Okay.
change the ending.
I think I only. How many fragments are there? I think I have 3.
There's 4. Wow, you got 3 of them. I only had 1.
Yeah, one of them I found by wandering the map.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sure they're in hard to reach chests too.
I think actually maybe one of them I harvested from an enemy.
I'm not surprised. Steel component kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Or like one of the like collect bounties or something like that. Maybe I don't know.
those skills are a lot more valuable than I thought when I was playing, because like I never did it, and like I'm seeing people like, oh yeah, if you did that, you get these cool components. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah. Well, some of the crafted equipment is really good too. Some of my best equipment right now is crafted.
A couple weapons that I crafted before the final fight came in like really handy, because it was just like that much better than what I could get from the store. But yeah, no, Dan, I love this game. I'm excited. Do you think you're gonna wait for a Switch release before you play more?
I don't know. I have to see if I can get myself reconnected to Corey's library.
Oh
yeah,
Steam.
Corey, I was telling Will before we started, I was playing, obviously your version on Steam through the family share. I went to play a little more today, and I, for whatever reason, lost access to your Steam library today.
What?
Because I haven't
today,
played,
huh?
Yeah, I haven't played a bunch yesterday, so.
Weird. I wonder if it matters whether I'm like logged into Steam on my laptop or my desktop. Would that change anything for you?
Maybe. It might. But it does have cloud share too, which is nice, because I played a little bit on my desktop down here, and I played a little bit on the computer upstairs.
Yeah.
So that's been very convenient too.
And just to add to that, it runs pretty well on low spec. It runs fine on my work laptop, and that's not meant for gaming at all.
Yeah, my upstairs computer, my wife's computer, is just a Intel HD integrated graphics. Yeah, it's many years old, and it ran fine. Both also with keyboard and mouse, it works perfectly fine, or a controller works perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So, it's also Will's playing on PS4. It's also on Xbox 360, and they are planning on a Switch release. So.
They better.
Yeah, I will definitely buy the game again and play it on Switch when it comes out. So, or buy it and play it on Switch. I'm playing Corey's version right now. So, but yeah, I've been thoroughly impressed with it. I've enjoyed my time with it. Like you guys said, the little bit of frustration with the RNG, and also not following the story all that much. But other than that, it's a solid game, and an easy $30 purchase if you've ever played and liked a tactical game like Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics, or any of the Ogre Tactics games, or even like Fire Emblem. I think you would like this type of game. So yeah. Anyone have any thoughts on Felseal, Arbiter's Mark?
Worth the play for sure.
I think you summed it up succinctly, Dan.
Yeah, it was quite good. All right, Will, do you want to get started with the Pokemon Direct news?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that was this morning at 9:00. There was a Pokemon Direct for Sword and Shield. So they announced some new details and had a little new gameplay. So go ahead, Will.
I have a lot of other nibble bits. You want to do them after we do the Direct and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So today, there was, as Dan said, at 9 a.m., there was a Pokemon Direct for the new game Sword and Shield, and we got a lot of info out of it, which is, I think most of it's pretty exciting. I know, Dan, you weren't cool on the game, but you weren't too impressed with what you saw during the first Direct, earlier in the year.
I wasn't jazzed about when I watched it this time either, but a lot of it was because I was just distracted, because it was at 9 and I was trying to feed my twins breakfast, and they were being really fussy. When I watched it again later, I got more of the understanding of what was going on, and I was happy with everything that I saw. So
yeah, so before I get into it, a lot of the complaints that people had about the first trailer and everything kind of got answered in this. So for starters, they announced that it's coming out November 15th. Not too far off. It's going to be taking place, as we all know, in the Galar region, which is kind of based on England. And as you're watching a lot of it, you can see a lot of the English ties to to the region. I think they did a really good job with that. A couple things. There's a play with your friends feature, which is kind of advanced for Nintendo because, as far as I know, we can't really link up in games, right? When we play multiplayer games, other than Smash.
What do you mean link up?
Like, so I don't know how Splatoon works, but Smash Brothers, as far as I know, is the only game where I can invite one of you guys to play with me. Or I have
on
to
your
make a
thing, yeah.
room. Yeah, right?
Yeah. I mean, because you could do like local wireless, like Mario Kart and stuff like that, but that's not really the same thing.
No, yeah.
It's multiplayer.
So I could be wrong, but yeah, there is a play with your friends feature, which is going to be really cool. And what they are is they're called raids. So it's very similar to how Pokemon Go does it. You're going to get you and 3 other friends to fight this thing called a Dynamax Pokemon. Now, the only thing from the Direct that I wasn't too keen on was the Dynamaxing. To be honest, I actually think the Dynamaxing mechanic is dumb. And what that is it's just a giant version of the Pokemon that is out there. And while you're doing these raids, one of the 4 people who throw their Pokemon out there to battle this giant Dynamax Pokemon can also Dynamax their Pokemon. So you just have these giant, powerful things fighting each other. They look a little bit like Titan versions of these Pokemon. Like they showed off I think it was a Raichu Dynamaxed or whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
Looks super goofy. So with that, there's the Dynamaxing mechanic, and while those raids and when you beat the Pokemon, you have the chance to catch it, kind of like how Pokemon Go does it, just on a smaller scale, because instead of having, I don't know, 30 people fighting this one Pokemon together, it's just going to be the 4 of you, and you're all going to be on the same screen, which is really cool. I love to see that.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. I never expected that, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and like I said, as much as I didn't really like the Dynamaxing, I like the concept of raids, and I think there's a lot of potential for cool raids, because I was thinking about it. They do these things called mythical Pokemon that they release during the generation of the Pokemon game, like the lifespan of it. They can do raids where you and your friends have to do this raid to catch this new legendary Pokemon that they introduced, and I think there's a lot of really cool things they could do with it. They also showed off the overworld a little bit, and one of the things that I really wanted after the first trailer was to be able to see the Pokemon in the wild, and in these wild zones, in fact, there are Pokemon wandering around, which I was really pumped about, because I think that adds a lot more, adds more to the living world, instead of it just being like just a trainer out there here and there that you run into in battle. Like, you're actually seeing Pokemon, and like they're seeking you out to battle you and stuff like that. I think that's a really cool feature to make the world actually feel lived in, and seeing Pokemon. So that was a really cool thing. They showed off some new Pokemon. I might butcher some of these names, so bear with me. But they showed off Wooloo, which is a sheep type Pokemon, which is really cool. There was Gossifleur, which is a flower Pokemon. They also showed off its evolution, Eldegoss, which is just a fluffier, cuter looking plant. Then they showed off Dreadnought, which is like a water rock type, like snapping turtle-ish looking thing, which looked pretty cool. And then the Pokemon that I thought stole a show, other than the legendaries, was Corviknight, which is a flying steel type bird. It looked so cool.
It looked really cool.
It's one of my favorite designs of recent Pokemon.
And then I don't know if you caught it, Will, but when they were rolling the footage, there was also like a giant golem-looking Pokemon.
That was a Gen 5 Pokemon.
Oh, was it? I hadn't gotten that far in Pokemon, so.
So there were a couple Pokemon. I think Golurk was the most latest Pokemon that we saw that was in there. I don't think we saw any Gen 6 or 7 Pokemon really there, but Golurk was the Golem in Gen 5.
Gotcha.
So they showed off that. Obviously, there's going to be Pokemon from other generations in there. So they showed off that. They also showed off the legendaries, which I thought were really cool. They're called Zacian and Zamazenta. Zacian carries a sword in its mouth, and Zamazenta wears a shield. So they're both legendary dogs, with the sword and shield kind of attached to them, and I thought they look really cool as well.
Yep.
Usually by now, like when they show off a Pokemon generation, I see a Pokemon that I'm like, I think that looks dumb. But so far, I think all of the Pokemon look really cool.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a big leak that happened a few days ago with all this stuff from somebody, and they nailed all of it. And I guess there is supposed to be a electric corgi Pokemon.
Oh, really? That would make total sense.
Apparently that's what one of that person said. So if we got an electric corgi, that would be
that would
so
be
cool.
amazing.
So, I'm trying to think of what else. I think that might be it. I might be missing something, but
One thing that they kind of glossed over was how much the environment and weather effects play into capturing Pokemon.
yeah. So for people who
They just kind of mentioned that offhandedly, but they showed some environments, and it does look like it's going to be fully 3D. I don't know if you got that impression, Will.
yeah, they actually said that there is going to be camera rotation in the
Yep.
at least the wild zones.
Yeah. So that's great. That's something I wanted to see, and it does seem like there's going to be weather and obviously different environments in the Galar region.
Which is cool. Now, let me ask you, Dan, do you think that this Pokemon seems... I know the complaint from people when they first showed off the teaser, which I waited to really have any assumptions, was that it wasn't ambitious. Do you feel like they're being a little bit more ambitious this time?
I think it's a step in between a fully ambitious and the same old thing. I think it's a step in the right direction.
So
they're changing some things a little bit, but also kind of remaining loyal to what Pokemon has been to this point.
So the best way I described it was it's safe ambitious.
Yes, that's perfect.
So it's like retaining a lot of what makes Pokemon, but they are testing some things out that might be really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing that I found might be the coolest, and I think it might be really dumb in game, but was when you fight the gym leaders.
Yeah.
They have it in it's like a soccer stadium,
Mm-hmm.
and you and the gym leader are in the middle fighting with your Pokemon, and there's
roaring crowds around the outside of it in the stadium.
Yeah. And I guess in this world or in this region that Pokemon fights are broadcasted on TV and a huge part of the world that people watch, people go to see, kind of like a sporting event. So there seems to be there's going to be a lot of I look at it as in with sports. It feels like that this is going to be the Pokemon trainers or the athletes being broadcasted on TV. That's what I feel like the vibe is for this one. So, I think that's the gist of all the Pokemon stuff. But after I watched it, I was so excited. I am pumped for this Pokemon.
Yeah, I got really excited for it too. Oh, also November 15th release date.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned that at the very end of the Pokemon Direct, so that's also very exciting.
They're also putting out a 2-pack, so you can buy Pokemon games. I don't know if there's a discount at all. Probably not. I'm guessing it's going to be $120. But
yeah, I'm hoping it's like 100 because I would probably buy that for.
Same here.
Because my son plays all these games now too, so not only do I have to generally buy physical cartridges, but if we're going to want to play at the same time, we're going to need 2 Pokemon games. So.
Yep. But yeah, I'm really excited. As somebody who defends Pokemon and has loved almost every single Pokemon, I feel like this one has potential to maybe be the best Pokemon in the series. So it just looks so cool. The world looks amazing. England is a great world to base the game off of. So
yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, but the Pokemon designer for this region was seemed like a gentleman from the UK.
Yep.
I can't always place my accents, but I'm pretty sure he was from the UK. I'm not sure where specifically, but that probably helped with the designing of the new Pokemon.
Yeah, and you know what? I have a hard time being able to pick out where each gen is supposed to take place. I know Kalos is France. I knew that, and it was easy to pick up on. And I knew the last gen Sun and Moon were Hawaii.
Yeah,
but
Pacific Islands.
And this one, it's very obvious what they were going for. And I like that because it gives you a little bit more context for the Pokemon designs and how the NPCs are going to be. So I kind of appreciate that you're able to kind of tell exactly where they're going for and the direction.
Yeah.
So, and I think the game also looks better graphically than they first showed off too.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
So I was very impressed and I was pumped. I can't wait to see them show off some more at E3, which I'm guessing they're going to do.
if they don't have it during the direct, they'll have Treehouse stuff. I'm almost willing to guarantee that.
I might take a couple days off when this comes out.
I mean, you could, but it's also I'll put all of that on YouTube.
Well,
The
no,
entire
like
the entire 10-hour video they'll have on YouTube.
well, when the game actually comes out,
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
might take the 15th off.
I wouldn't blame you.
But yeah, so that's Pokemon Sword and Shield in a nutshell. You're gonna be hearing a lot more about this game from us from now until release date anyway. So, and I know any news that comes out, I will definitely be covering it in Nibble Bits. So
Yeah, we're gonna definitely keep everyone posted on that. Okay. Anything else, Will? Nibble bits?
You want me to do the rest of the Nibble Bits?
Yeah, go ahead. I've got quite a few also.
We might have overlap, so I'm
okay.
sorry.
Don't worry
but
about it.
Borderlands: The Handsome Collection for PC is really cheap right now on Steam. So I guess it's down to $6.02. So if you have not played those games and are excited for Borderlands 3, buy them on Steam if you have a computer that can run it, because that is a crazy deal. All the DLCs, everything for both games. So there's that. Destiny 2 is getting a new expansion called Shadowkeep. It's supposed to take place on the moon. I've been really into space recently, so I was like, ooh, maybe I'll get Destiny 2, but I know I'm never going to play it. So Watch Dogs 3 got leaked before E3. It's called Watch Dogs Legion, and Ubisoft put out a statement saying that, yep, nope, it got leaked and it is true. So they put out a small 10-second teaser. We'll see more at E3. Apparently in this game you can play as any NPC. I don't know how that works.
I really like that. So I don't know if like at the beginning of the game you can zoom in on like people walking around a city and you see someone walking by that you like, you're like, I'm going to be that person.
I think
that's my hope for it anyway. When I read that I think that would be awesome.
I think from what I've gathered is that the gameplay, you're playing as a non-lethal organization, so there's no killing. There's like, you get more tools like tasers and like batons and stuff like that, so you can't really kill people, but I think the main character is supposed to like recruit to this organization to, mess with the system. So I'm wondering if that's how it all works.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we'll find out more in a week anyway.
Yeah.
So there is that. Square Enix has a new game for E3 called Outriders, which kind of falls in line with all of the games that are coming out that have out in it right now.
Yeah.
Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds,
Yeah.
Outriders. There's a lot. Now.
I feel like there's one other one that has a similar-ish name that I have on my Steam wish list probably.
And you're just like, I'm going to get these all confused. I know it.
Yeah.
But we don't know too much about it, but there is a small teaser on YouTube for people who want to watch it. So there is that. We'll find out more at E3. Shenmue 3 is delayed 3 months. Now set for November 19th, 2019.
That's not coming out this year.
No.
They'll delay it again. I guarantee it.
Why would you want to combat all of those November releases with Shenmue 3,
Yeah.
I just don't see Shenmue 3 doing that well, but it's supposed to come out in August, which was not too far from now. So there's that. Dying Light 2 will be a part of Square Enix's E3 showcase as well. That's really cool. Apparently Dead Island 2 is still a thing for people who care, which is surprising, but there's that. And my last one, and I hate myself, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare is coming out in October. Gonna have no season pass and crossplay.
Love it.
I said October 25th, by the way, is the exact release date. There was a rumor, it leaked that it was going to be called Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and I texted Eric, like, how stupid is that? What a dumb game. The trailer came out, and I was immediately excited. To the point I'm definitely getting it.
It looks awesome, though. Like, even I watched it. As skeptical as I am about the Modern Warfare Call of Duty games, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, like the gameplay that they showed off, and there wasn't a ton, it looks really realistic. I was really impressed with the graphics.
Yeah.
It seems like, for people who care, Captain Price was the protagonist. or one of the main characters in like the first three Modern Warfare games. I think this is just a whole new reboot of the series, like a soft reset. So like all of the characters that we loved, if you played those games from the first three Modern Warfare, seem like they're all going to be around again. The no season pass is really cool because I know Call of Duty games have problems with segmenting the player base because people aren't buying map packs as much as they used to.
Yeah.
And crossplay is just a win in general. That's good for the health of the game, in my opinion. So there seems to be a lot to look forward to. There's going to be a campaign for this Call of Duty. Yeah, I'm actually really excited to play it.
Yeah, I think Call of Duty, I mean, I think they had to evolve here because of how popular things like Apex Legends are.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, why would you spend, with all the map packs and stuff included, $100 on a game like that when you can play Apex Legends or Fortnite that's constantly updated with new things for free, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And, you
So-
know, like, I'm not a person to buy into loot boxes or anything like that. Like, I bet this game will have some form of that, but, like, it's not going to bother me as long as it doesn't barricade off, like, progress in the game because, like, I've never been one to buy loot boxes. So, like,
Right.
even if this game has it, it's not going to bother me. Like, the Division 2 has it, apparently, and that doesn't deter me from wanting to play it because, like, I've never been one to do that. So...
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea for them to put out these map packs for free and just like try to make money off microtransactions if it's not sleazy.
Mhm.
Which with it being Activision, you know, there's a risk of it being very sleazy. But,
Sure.
But you know, I'm pumped for this Call of Duty. I'm probably gonna get it, and I hate myself for that because I said no, not this year. Getting it this year.
Yeah, that happens.
But that's all of my nibble bits. There's a lot to talk about, and I know you have some too.
Yeah,
so.
I've got quite a few also. Like I said, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but all the pre-E3 stuff that people want to get their announcements out before the hubbub starting this weekend have kind of made announcements. So,
Yep.
my first one is that Microsoft has announced that a version of Xbox Game Pass will be coming soon to PC. Will be supported by publishers like Bethesda, Sega, Devolver, Paradox, and Deep Silver. No further details have been announced, and though they are named the same, they are not. They are going to be completely separate services. So it's going to be Xbox Game Pass for obviously Xbox One, and then Xbox Game Pass for PC. It seems like they're going to have a different, obviously they'll have their cross-play titles on there, but then it seems like they're going to have like if Paradox is on there, they're going to have Paradox games. I'm assuming games like Crusader Kings and stuff like that will be available on the Game Pass. So
This might be worth it if you have a computer that can play everything.
yeah, I mean, I think Game Pass is a great service. So
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth getting Game Pass. So I mean, I think that's a smart move. I don't like that it's different, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, if you could pay for
$10, whatever.
Yeah, if you could pay for one and have it available on both systems, that would be awesome. But
It's a step in that direction.
Yeah,
at least.
Yeah, absolutely. My next one, so Game of Thrones is coming to VR with a new experience called Beyond the Wall. In Beyond the Wall, you become a member of the Night's Watch and defend the wall. It's currently an exclusive for HTC's Viveport Infinity service, but will soon be coming to Microsoft's mixed reality headsets also. I would love to try that. I'll never get the opportunity to, but I would love to try that.
Never say never.
I just can't see myself getting a VR headset. I got to get a powerful enough computer to run it, first of all.
But aren't they? Doesn't Oculus? Aren't they selling their standalone now?
I don't know.
I think so. I think you're right.
I know there's been new upgraded models. I know there's a wireless one. I think the Vive has a wireless version now. Excuse me. Also in VR news, Smash Brothers got a patch last week that enabled Nintendo Labo VR for Smash Brothers Ultimate. It's currently its own mode and single player only. I'll talk about it either during my week or what we played because I tried it.
I'm very interested.
So, yeah. Next on my list, Cuphead will soon be playable in Tesla vehicles. Elon Musk revealed in an interview recently that Tesla has been working on getting the Unity engine working on their cars, and has been specifically working with Studio MDHR to get Cuphead up and running smoothly. It should be ready to release in the late summer and will require a USB gamepad to play. A lot of the other games that you can play in Teslas use a touchscreen, but obviously Cuphead requires a bit more precise controls, so definitely have to have a USB gamepad to play that one. Those like myself concerned about safety and distracted driving, apparently the games are only playable when the car is in park, so...
Just wait till Tesla gets their self-driving cars off the ground and, like, people are getting them. Man. Yeah. You can play Cuphead while you're
on the actual car, too. Not having to hold a separate device.
I want a Tesla car so bad.
They're pretty nice. I see a few occasionally roaming the neighborhood.
I know they're coming down in price. Still way out of my price range, but hopefully not too long here.
I think the base Tesla you can get for a little over $30,000 right now. The Model 3.
It's my dream.
They're pretty nice.
Love me, Elon.
Yeah, and then THQ Nordic is set to announce 3 new games over the next 3 days. The first of which I actually forgot to write down, but I'm thinking it's the SpongeBob SquarePants game that got announced today.
Oh yeah,
something about Bikini Bottom.
Yeah, like rehydrated.
Yeah,
or something or other. Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was a joke or if that's actually the case, but if that's actually the case, that's hilarious.
I'm people are really excited for it too.
Yeah. So, there's that, and then in E3 news, Microsoft has revealed they will be revealing. That's a little too much revealing. 14 first-party games at their E3 press conference. One of which is strongly rumored to be Fable 4.
There were leaked details, actually, of Fable 4.
Yeah, I didn't read any of that because I want to see it in person. But yeah, I think one of them is going to be Fable 4. 14 first-party games, that's pretty good. That's one of the things we wanted to see from Microsoft at their press conference. So
finally.
That's great. And then also in E3 news, Dying Light 3, Dying Light 2, I'm sorry, like you talked about, will be at Square Enix press conference. Right now, we know that Dying Light 2 is going to be self-published, but Square Enix has signed a deal to help distribute Dying Light 2 in the Americas. So
really,
yep. So there's that.
It's interesting that they aren't publishing it elsewhere, but only in America.
Yeah, and it's just said in the Americas. The details on their deal are kind of sketchy right now, so no one really knows for sure. But it's gonna be a distribution deal for right now.
I guess good for them.
Yeah. So that's all for Niblewitz. Corey, how's your week?
My week was pretty good. Nothing special. No, I'm kidding. I actually I popped the question this weekend.
Hey.
Yes.
Congratulations.
And she said yes, so it was a win.
That's awesome.
We've had a lot of long weekends lately, but this one takes the cake because it was my girlfriend's birthday on Thursday last week, and for this weekend we had some friends out to her grandmother's cottage up in the Adirondacks, and they all left on Sunday, and then that night we went out to do some stargazing because it was perfect. It happened to be clear after a weekend of clouds and rain. And it was cold, so the moon wasn't out, so it was perfect. There was no light pollution because of where we were, so it was perfect stargazing conditions, and that's where I popped the question.
Did you look at everything like outside and be like, oh, I have to do this here, like this is perfect, or were you like, I'm gonna do it regardless?
Yeah, I didn't know going into the weekend if I was gonna do it regardless, but by like Sunday morning I'm like, I definitely have to do it today because I cannot like sit on this another week.
yeah
So as of Sunday I had decided that I needed to do it, so I just kind of hoped that everything worked out, and it did.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're all pumped to see it.
Yeah, it's still a little surreal, to be honest. We've been together for 9.5 years. Probably, when did we start the podcast?
2011.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we had been together, but not for long. Yeah, that's a long time.
That is.
Very nice.
But yeah,
do you feel like a new man?
Not really. No, not really. I feel pretty much the same. It's just it does feel a little bit different,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that you can't really explain because you've only experienced the emotions once.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they're there, but it's kind of hard to process them and talk about them. I don't know. Some people get to experience it more than once, but
Sure.
but for now, it's just my first time trying to pop the question. So
Mm-hmm.
Did you cry?
no, it got a little dusty though. It's that I was super nervous. I was like
Oh, yeah.
shaking.
Yeah, that happened to me too.
Yeah, it's not an easy sentence to spit out, but no, it went well, and she was really happy and surprised, which is what I wanted. I wanted it to be a surprise, not too much of a surprise, because then you're like Michael Scotting somebody if you surprise them too much. But
Yes.
no, yeah, that was my big news for the week,
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
and I don't think I have any little news to share. So
Nothing at all.
just quickly, I watched a couple Netflix movies that came out recently. Rim of the World, I really liked.
Those aren't plugged in.
Kind of all over the place. If you like movies like Stranger Things or some of those older, like Stand By Me, it's that kind of young kids against the world kind of thing. Did not review very well, but I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I also watched that movie The Perfection with Allison Williams from Get Out and Girls, who I have a little man crush on. But that movie was horrible. But it's weird because the review scores were the opposite of how I felt about them. So
Oh, really?
take it with a grain of salt.
So you liked them more than the review scores?
No, I liked Rim of the World much more than the review score. I disliked The Perfection much more than the review scores.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
So
I actually saw a movie too that I'll talk about when we get there.
Did you watch more
yeah.
Black Clover?
no, I watched that first episode and that one character. I just couldn't. I don't know. I'll probably watch it again at some point, but that one character was just too annoying. He was yelling the whole time.
So okay, I know, as I said it to you, it's a tall ask, but if you can make it to like when those three characters go to the dungeon the first time, is when it gets a lot better.
I'll try.
I don't know if
Might take me a few years.
it might be worth it just to start on that episode, because you're not really missing much. But I promise he gets a lot better.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it might take me a few years to get there, but I'll try.
Okay.
No one ever takes my suggestions.
I tried it. What do you mean?
One episode.
Oh, come on.
19 minutes worth of content.
I feel like we've had the same conversation with you.
Corey, I played Fell Seal.
No, I know, but I mean with TV shows that you don't want to watch.
Yeah, but you like anime.
Do you find it weird, Corey, that out of all your recommendations, the one we latched onto was Fell Seal?
Not really, because it was clearly a Final Fantasy Tactics game, you know?
Fair enough.
I didn't really have to. The work was already done in the videos and the gameplay videos and stuff, so.
I have Enderal downloaded on my computer.
Your ears are huge.
Yeah.
This is way too big.
Real quick, we're gonna do our rookie
Maybe.
camp recap, I
We're
guess, for
having
the
troubles.
last few episodes. So
Shoot!
we're covering Inside, Fallout 4.
I was gonna tell.
Oh,
Okay.
go ahead.
Well, no, it's okay.
Dan.
I think
Come
I
on.
talked about it at the beginning of the episode. So
Yeah. So I played Inside, Fallout 4, and Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. So the categories are most likely to play again, least likely to play again, and best overall experience. All right, so we'll start with your guesses for game that I'm most likely to play again.
Inside.
Inside.
Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time.
Okay. Least likely to play again.
Fallout 4.
Okay.
I'll say Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time.
Okay.
Inside.
Really?
Okay. and best overall experience.
Probably Lovers.
Okay.
Inside.
I'm gonna say Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time.
Okay.
So I missed all 3 of these. I didn't get to watch any of them, but when Dan answers, I know if I'm gonna be right or wrong.
Right.
I'm not always right.
Yeah, he's not always right. So most likely to play again is Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time.
Co-op.
Yeah, because it was co-op, and I loved it. Like, I think I could even play that game on my own, because it wasn't a lot of thinking or, anything like that. It was really just, you had a few things that you needed to make sure you did. It was really fun music. I was saying, like, in the video, I kept dancing around, and I had no idea that I was doing that until I watched the video. So that was really...
Yeah, the music was a little quieter than I would have liked for the video, but...
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. The volumes are always, like, different for different things, so...
Yeah, and it was very Celeste type
Yeah.
music, we were saying. Like, it had that feel. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it. It was really fun, and it was really rewarding to beat the bad guys and get through a level, and then towards the end of the video, we played a bonus game, I guess, or something.
I just think that was the level.
Okay, it was just
being
part
in
of the
one
level.
spot, yeah.
Yeah, and that was really rewarding to beat it after we... Did we
tried
try?
and, yeah, we
a
tried
couple
and failed
times?
the first time.
Oh, first time, yeah. And then, beat it. So, highly recommend that. And I think we will play that again.
Mm-hmm,
Definitely. So my least likely to play again is actually Fallout 4.
Yeah. Woo!
And that is nothing against the game at all, because that game was fantastic. I was hooked, like, with the opening, and I was like, what happens? And
You can hate it, Val. It's okay.
there was a baby. No, I really liked it.
I will say the opening is the best part of the game.
Yeah.
It's one of the better openings in a game.
Yeah. Oh,
if
it
I'm
was
being honest.
Yeah, it was so good. Maybe I didn't do enough gameplay to know for sure, but Dan explained it to me and I read up on it, and there is a lot involved there. So that was definitely my least likely to play again. As far as I'll go to my best overall experience, I guess. So my best overall experience, I kind of want to have a 3-way tie because I loved all of them, which was really nice because the last bunch of 5 games that I reported on, I had a hard time picking my favorite one because none of them really stood out. But all 3 of these were really good games because I think Inside had a really interesting story, and I just wanted to know, like, what the heck is going on. And I really liked the puzzle aspect of it. Fallout 4, I was just intrigued again by the story. Don't know that I would enjoy playing it all the way through. And then Lovers in a Dangerous, Space-Time, hello, was really fun because it was co-op, and it was just different than anything I had really played. So I think they all could be, like, first place, and I think among, like, any of the other groups of games that I've played, they all would have been my best overall experience.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe except for Celeste.
If they weren't together.
Yeah. But if I have to pick one, I would say Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. Yeah. Just because it was co-op, and like I said, it was just different, and it was fun, and it's interesting because I've actually, like, I posted the link on my Facebook, and I've actually had people say, like, oh, I watched that, it was really fun, or, it looked really interesting, and I did a screenshot that I posted on Instagram and got some attention for it that way, and I've posted other things and have not had that, so I think it was appealing because it was bright and fun, and the characters were cute, and, it's
a very happy game.
Yeah, it is a happy game. Yeah, and it reached, like, a different demographic than Fallout 4, especially considering almost all my friends on Facebook are females, so I think it was more appealing. So it's been neat to, like, actually have people mention it to me was pretty cool. So, yeah.
Val, I want to say you've done more marketing for the podcast than all 4 of us have done in maybe 4 years at this point.
I'm trying to get a little bit better about all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I saw, like, I've seen, like, you post a couple things about us on Instagram, and I'm like, huh, Val's doing way more than I put in for
Our
marketing.
own Instagram's been dead for years.
Nice. Maybe I need to be your director of social media.
Something.
Something.
Take it. Have at it.
Yeah.
It's just sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, so overall this was a really great group of games, and it was, like I said, it was nice from the last group because I had a hard time picking a favorite. This time it was hard because I really liked all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all very different, which was fun too. I kind of wish that, to be honest, I had played Inside and just played it to find out what
game.
had happened at the end instead of going and reading about it.
There's a
'cause
couple.
It was really cool.
There's a couple games on my list. Well, one of them in particular that you just have to play the whole thing.
Oh, is it?
To the Moon.
To the Moon. I was gonna say. I've been waiting
We'll
for
sit
that
here
one.
and play the entire thing sometime.
Yeah, yeah. And then everyone gets to watch me ugly cry. Apparently.
I ugly cried during it too.
Nice.
I will probably ugly cry again.
Nice. Yeah. So, I guess that's it. Like I'm sure you mentioned, we should be picking Rookie Camp back up regularly, now that
on Sunday nights. Now that Game of Thrones
is
over.
Yeah. I was doing okay with Game of Thrones being over, and then so I have a huge backlog of podcasts, and I'm finally getting to the ones that were talking about the end of Game of Thrones, and it brought it all right back. And then randomly I told Dan, this is the weirdest thing ever. I got in my car because I was driving in between school buildings, and I got in my car, and out of nowhere, the Night King song that I am obsessed with just randomly started playing. I was like, I did not have my music player on. I did not have it like queued up, like nothing. It just started playing like the second I turned on my car, and I was like, what's going on?
That's called
Technology
schizophrenia, Val.
That wasn't the answer I was expecting.
I know. Perfect.
You sure it was the radio?
Yeah.
It was just playing in your mind.
It was just all in my head. Yeah. No, but yeah, so I was doing okay, and then it all came back, so. But I think I'm through all my podcasts that talk about it now, so I can move on again after I had already moved on a little bit. So, but back to real life, back to Rookie Camp and doing all the things. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Val.
Thanks, Val.
See ya.
All right, Will. What do you got
Yes.
for us for your week?
Oh, honestly, nothing. Just working a lot, getting over mono and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, hear this. This was my weekend, by the way, real quick. I worked from 6 p.m. till about 4:30 a.m. Got home at like 5, was up till probably like 6:30ish. Had to be back to work on Saturday at noon. Worked from noon to midnight. Got home and then had to work Sunday again from noon till about 9:45, 10 o'clock.
Wow.
And then we got food after. And then I had to go to the gym after. So I didn't get home until like 3. So I had a crazy work weekend. I think I
I'll
put in
say.
4 hours in 3 days.
That's crazy.
So I'm honestly still recovering from that. But I think that's going to be my weekend life from now on, which is all right because I want to get a new computer. So I want to make as much money as possible right now. It's summertime anyway, so I'm not going to be doing much anyway. Because I get to enjoy my days because I work later in the day. So I get to hang out outside and do swim and do cool stuff like that from up until I have to be to work at 6, so I have to leave at 5. So I'm kind of okay with it. No more I have to work from like, I don't know,
we're more
10 to 6:30.
Yeah, we're more night people anyway. I always hated that. That was literally the entire day.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Well, I remember during like the winter time, you would go in when it was dark to Wegmans and then leave when it was dark.
Yeah.
You just never saw the sun.
Yeah.
And your car would be snow covered and you'd be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's nice to not. I leave when it's like starting to like the day is starting to wind down and work until midnight because I'm going to be up until then anyway. So that's fine with me. And then get home and go to bed. I like those hours a little bit more as of right now. I know it won't be sustainable for me long term, and I don't plan to make it a career. So,
Right.
but other than that, I got nothing interesting going on.
Okay. I got a couple quick things. So I watched a movie. I watched The Meg. You familiar with that at all, Corey?
Yeah, let me Google it quick.
Okay.
I think I've seen it.
I'm
maybe
sure.
not.
I'm sure you have.
No.
Well, I don't know if you've seen the movie, but you probably have heard of it at least.
Yeah,
It's It's kind of a cheesy action flick, but it has the Meg is a megalodon, a prehistoric shark. And my mother-in-law was telling my son about it because she had seen it, and he's all into the prehistoric stuff and sharks and stuff like that. So he made us watch it. I actually ended up quite liking it. It's definitely not the best movie I've seen, but it had some cool like science fiction-y stuff in it, and it had Jason Statham just doing one stupid badass thing after another, which I thought was kind of cool.
Does he do anything else?
What's that? No, but I just I don't know. It was cool in this movie. It has Rainn Wilson in it, which is very weird to have him not be Dwight.
Yeah.
But he plays a good character in the movie. It's not like I said, it's not a great movie, but it's a good like summer, crappy action film type of thing. But I enjoyed it. So there's that. I'm listening to via audiobook. I'm listening to Fire and Blood, the Targaryen family history of Westeros. It starts with Aegon's conquest of Westeros, and it's actually really, really good. It reads like a history book. That's how well done it is. And I'm really, really into it so far. I think I've listened to maybe 2.5 or 3 hours so far.
Cool.
And I'm impressed with that. It's scratching that Game of Thrones itch that I will probably never get rid of. So.
Did you pick up on any juicy gossip?
What do you mean?
Any juicy Targaryen gossip that I would be interested in?
I was surprised at how good of a king the Aegon was after he conquered Westeros. I was just always in the impression he was a vicious, cruel conqueror, and wanted to subject everyone to his will, but it wasn't like that at all. He did want to conquer it, but people who bent the knee, if you will, he didn't. He's like, okay, come on over.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dorne resisted fiercely for a very long time, which is also pretty interesting. That he was never able to conquer Dorne. Dorne got married into I didn't get to that part yet, but he was never able to conquer Dorne at all, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some great characters in that even. And it doesn't read like a first person thing. It's great characters as read from a historical perspective. So that's pretty cool. And then another thing I wanted to talk about real quick. I've done a little looking into this, but I think we've talked about this before, but Tom DeLonge and To the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences.
Yeah.
I was under the impression for a long time that Tom DeLonge was kind of losing his marbles a little bit. But I saw an interview with him, and I've read some stuff on his To the Stars Academy, and I actually think he's doing some pretty cool work. It doesn't seem like he's a man who's lost his marbles at all, actually.
Really?
Yeah. So To the Stars, it's right now one of the things they do is it's like a publishing outfit. So they publish comics and movies and anime and stuff like that, and they've got some really cool looking stuff. He kind of described it as like a science fiction Disney almost. They did the movie, Corey, I think you saw Love, the science fiction film. They did a bunch of, like I said, comics and graphic novels and stuff like that really honestly look pretty interesting. There's a sciences aspect to it, but there's also the whole UFO thing, which a lot of people laugh off, but I was reading some of the credentials of some of the people he has working for him and under him. It's pretty impressive. Some pretty high up CIA and Department of Defense people, and some people who worked for Lockheed Martin, some higher up Lockheed Martin people that now work for his outfit. So
you mean they're on his payroll?
Well, they connected before he started this, and that's once they were free of whatever they were doing, they joined in and to help out. It's pretty interesting stuff. So I definitely recommend like looking into it a little bit. What?
I don't know, Dan. Have you listened to him on Joe Rogan yet?
Not Joe Rogan, no.
You should give that one a listen. Only because even Joe Rogan, who's pretty open-minded to hearing this stuff, was like, my God, what a loon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I don't know.
I need specifics.
Yeah, like he think why he started To the Stars was because he thinks that the government has contracted him to slowly release information to present the fact that aliens exist.
Yeah. No, I knew that bit.
That's I mean, you're mentally ill if you think that. Especially if you're Tom DeLonge.
I don't know, man. He doesn't at least in the stuff that I saw him in, it doesn't come off as being crazy.
Yeah, he doesn't he's not like a crazy UFO guy you see on YouTube, but like what I personally think is he doesn't really believe what he says is going on, but it's working for him. You know what I mean? Like
that's the impression that you got.
Yeah, that it's like willful craziness.
Gotcha.
Like he's not actually crazy, but he's playing up that side of it. Like I don't know if it's a popularity thing, if it brings more eyes to what he's doing. Who knows?
Huh. I just think it's fascinating. And if that, I mean, who knows if that is actually the case, then that's pretty interesting stuff.
I've also seen some of their like leaked videos that he's sort of responsible for. Like I've seen stuff and listened to people poke holes in that stuff to the point where I'm like, yeah, it is just him making stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? I mean, crazier things have happened.
I mean, the way I look at it is, how can someone look at outer space and be like, oh, nothing's up there? So I see what he's doing, or why he thinks that he does. He just comes off a little crazy here and there.
Yeah.
I just don't think Tom DeLonge would be the government's choice to start leaking alien stuff.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe this started was when he was popular, like when Blink-182 was massive. So they're like,
I mean, kind of the way I took it is he's kind of he's like a pop culture icon, and maybe because of his initial interest in it, maybe it's just a handful of people. Maybe it's not the entire government, but the people are like, okay, this is a guy that can, maybe disseminate some of this stuff to the masses.
I wonder if he just started watching documentaries on Mercury and Venus like I've been doing the last couple days.
I don't know, but space stuff is pretty fascinating.
Oh God, I've learned. I can't stop watching documentaries on the planets. It's so fascinating.
Well, do you follow? Sorry, Dan.
No, go ahead.
Do you follow Jean-Michel Gaultier on YouTube?
I do not. Do I need to right now?
Yeah, I just watched one last night. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing his name right, but it was about future propulsion systems.
I love that stuff.
Pretty cool.
How is okay? I think I found it. Maybe. Yeah, there it is.
Really like mind-blowing, relatively short videos.
Wait, what's his YouTube name?
Jean-Michel Gaultier.
Oh, I put I put Jean, like the French spelling.
Like Jean.
Yeah.
No, it's John Michael Michael Gaultier Godier.
Okay, found it. Thank you.
Some of those videos are really, really cool.
I've been just consuming so much space stuff, so I'm glad you told me about this so I can watch it.
You can really go down a rabbit hole with that. Yeah. With all that.
I literally watched a 50-minute documentary like in bed the other night because I couldn't sleep, and I was like, I'll do this. Might as well.
Mm-hmm.
The BBC is doing right now. They're doing the planets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're not airing in the U.S. till like July, I think, but
just basically all the stuff we know about each planet.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think there was one called The Planets in the 90s that it's like spiritual successor to.
I got a good chuckle because people thought like on this planet, like when we went to the moon landing, that Venus was like a tropical jungle.
I'll never forget. Yeah, in like third grade, my teacher had science books, and one of them was from like the 70s or something, and that's what the images of Venus were of like these vast jungles.
And then the Russians land on it, and we're like, what is this?
Yeah, it's a hellhole.
I guess,
Yeah.
though, that they think that Venus is the other candidate for
Terraforming.
like Mars and Venus are the two that they're like, we might be able to do something with this.
Yeah.
They just need an atmosphere, really.
Yeah.
Well, they
But-
both have an atmosphere. They just need
Thin.
to. Mars especially. Is Venus's atmosphere thin? I know Mars's is thin.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you saw, Will, the capture of the clouds blowing over on Mars.
I did see that.
was
They're
really
like,
cool.
they look a little bit like cirrus clouds. Like,
Yeah,
they got a
yep.
little bit of, like, wispiness to them.
It was
That's just-
very neat.
It just blows my mind. I know Mercury is the only other planet in the solar system that has a magnetic field.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They said if you're on the dark side of Mercury, you see like the orange lights. Like if you're looking at the Auroras Borealis and
Yeah.
on Earth, it's like that, but like it's orange and like makes a halo around. So like if you're on the dark side, you would be seeing that.
That's cool.
Mind blowing. And like they think Earth crashed into Mercury at one point when they were like getting into this like aligned around the sun, and that's why the core is so big on Mercury, but the actual like crust is so small.
Huh. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's so fascinating.
Anywho, anything else? I think that was it for our weeks, right?
Yeah.
I'll be talking a little more space in just a moment here. I want to cover Outer Wilds. So what we played. So I will start off with Smash Brothers Ultimate. I started playing Smash Brothers Ultimate again here and there. I'm doing the World of Light a little bit. I need to beat that mode at the very least. But I've also been playing nighttime with my kids before they go to bed. It's been really fun. Last night especially, we did me and my son and my older son and my daughter playing on a team against 3 computer opponents. And that was probably the best way to play. That way I'm not beating up on them the entire time. It offers a little bit of challenge for me too, because I try to make up for their falls. So
Do you ever get frustrated with either of them?
no, it's fine. I just do my best. I get frustrated when I get a character that I'm really bad with. So
Did you get the DLC characters by any chance?
no, not yet.
No.
I got PD Piranha for free, but I claimed the thing, but I don't know how to actually activate PD. So I've got to figure that out at some point.
If you've claimed the code, it should boot up.
Yeah, I honestly I didn't even look, to be honest. So he might be there and I just missed him.
But Nintendo doesn't make this stuff that like easy.
No, they don't.
So
And I just unlocked my final character, which was Mewtwo.
nice.
Not that long. It was a couple days ago, anyway. But yeah, I want to talk about the VR mode. So the VR mode, it's under like options or something. It took me a little while to find it. It's not easy to find like it is in the other games. And all it is it's a handful of the stages. Maybe about a third of them you can play the VR mode on. And then you do a 4-character battle where you can be in the battle or you can watch four characters playing. And because you're holding the thing to your face, it's not super comfortable, but yeah, you can zoom the camera. It takes place like you move your head around like the battlefield. You can go up and down and kind of swing around the battlefield and watch the characters duke it out. You can, like I said, you can also play. It's not fleshed out all that much. It's kind of simple, but I mean, I thought it was cool. I did one match and got my butt kicked because I kept not keeping my head totally straight, because I'm also not used to playing not with the GameCube controller. Playing with the Switch remote was not my ideal way of playing Smash Brothers. So
Are you just like looking in one direction, then you turn around and little Max slugging you in the face?
yeah, kind of. I mean, I would like zoom myself out or zoom myself back in. It was more about the spectacle of the thing and not as much the gameplay. for that. But I would love to see if they could, maybe figure out a way to do that multiplayer with 2 Switches and 2 Smash Brothers things. I think that would be I think that would be kind of fun.
Would Corey get motion sick playing it?
I don't think so. He didn't get motion sick playing Breath of the Wild in VR, so
Okay.
I wouldn't think.
I don't think I get motion sick playing VR. I haven't yet.
Yeah, I mean, Corey, you played Breath of the Wild VR. It wasn't as bad as everyone was claiming, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
Not what I expected.
That's what I said too. I don't know
Yep.
what people were expecting with this stuff. Like, it's because there's been a lot of complaints about Smash Brothers VR, but like it's a little update that they did, to it's more to show people than anything. Like, you're not going to sit there for hours and play Smash Brothers in VR,
No, Dan, I have to have a passionate opinion on every single thing that every company does.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially the Breath of the Wild VR hate was very much unfounded, because I actually thought it was pretty well done. But
yeah, you're not buying a $700 virtual reality.
Exactly, you can get that one standalone for $40.
Yeah,
and you don't even need to do that. People were rigging their phone like headset things to work with the Switch VR. So
yeah.
So there's that. Smash Brothers Ultimate. Yeah, the VR mode, it was fine. It's a free update. I'll probably play it more at some point. The hard part is playing with the Switch controller. I would like to figure out a way to be able to play. If I had a wireless GameCube controller, that would work, but I don't for right now. So I played some Snipper Clips. My son wanted to play it, actually, so played a little bit of that. That's still a really good game. Lovers in the Dangerous Space Time we already talked about. So the main event, Outer Wilds. I watched one of my Twitch people that I follow play Outer Wilds, and I was immediately intrigued by it. So I stopped watching because I wanted to experience it myself. I think I want to do an episode on it too. Maybe not next week, but the week after. So you play as an astronaut in like a rustic, woodsy, alien species space program. There's a bunch of stuff you have to do before you get your launch codes, and you've got to kind of get a feel for what the place is before you can get your launch code and actually launch into space. The music really drew me in right off the bat, because it's music that made me think of Life is Strange. It's very like rustic, some banjo stuff, but really emotionally hooks you to what's going on in the game. And the mysteries really drew me in, as well as the general difficulty and danger of space travel, because it's supposed to be like realistic, like when you're floating around in space and trying to dock with things, or at one point I damaged my spaceship and I had to get out and fix it, and you have to like maneuver yourself like you would like with little pressure jets off to the right if you wanted to move to your left, and you have to really like go slow and get a feel for all that stuff, and it's really, really fun, really interesting. There's also I don't want to. You should just play it. Is basically what I'm saying, because I'm so excited about this game. I haven't been this excited about a game in quite a while. I freaking love it so far. There's a lot of mysteries you have to solve.
I've seen that a lot everywhere. People are talking about that they haven't been excited about a game in a while. So let me ask you.
Yeah.
I know there's puzzles to it.
Yes.
As somebody who is bad at puzzle games and generally doesn't like them, is this game worth it?
It's not so much puzzles as it is a mystery that you piece together parts of over time.
Okay.
There's a few puzzles here and there, but it's nothing complicated. Like, it's more about, like I said, piecing together a greater mystery with snippets of information that you gather from your space travels.
Okay.
I guess is the best way to talk about it. But I've had some emergent gameplay experiences in this one that I'll probably never forget, one of which was particularly terrifying. And I don't want to talk about it now because I want people to play the game first to see what I'm talking about. But man, talk about emotional impact.
Okay, so my other question is, I kind of compared this to No Man's Sky, but actually fun Is that accurate too?
It's not much like No Man's Sky at all. No Man's Sky, if you play Outer Wilds or if you play No Man's Sky and then play Outer Wilds, like No Man's Sky is like an arcade game.
Okay.
None of the space flight stuff is real. It's all the space flight in this stuff is like hard and dangerous, and even the autopilot, like if you're not careful, it will fly you into the sun or crash you into a planet that's orbiting by, or a moon or what have you. Like you have to be very careful. I've died a number of stupid ways by crashing my ship, not landing gracefully. So it's
okay.
It's good stuff. It's on Xbox Game Pass right now. If you have an Xbox and you have Game Pass, or if you don't have Game Pass, now is the time to give it a try and play Outer Wilds. It's seriously so good.
I think I'm gonna get Game Pass and play it then, because I was worried. I saw there was puzzles, and I was like, maybe it's not for me then.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a couple puzzles, but it's like I said, it's piecing together bits of information that you get over time and exploration and stuff like that. So
yeah, you sold me on it.
It's at least worth giving it a shot. If you're not enthused about it after a few hours, then I totally get it. But
well, Game Pass is also like what, $10 a month or something?
Yeah, in a lot of cases you can get $1 trial for a month. So
that's worth it right there.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's what I was excited about this week. As I said, I would love to do an episode on it if we can. Maybe not next week, but the week after, if everyone can play enough, or maybe even the week after that. I'm willing to wait and talk about my experiences with the game that I don't want to spoil for other people.
Ooh, game lit.
Yeah.
I think we heard a ghost on a live podcast.
I heard a buzz. I don't know. Anywho. Yeah. So I totally lost my train of thought there.
Maybe you're being swatted, Dan.
I don't know. I thought my phone was ringing on the desk, but my phone is in my lap, so that's not what it was. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, so that's all I played. Will, did you play anything?
No, nothing other than Fell Seal. I'm debating on what my next backlog game's going to be. It's either going to be God of War or Persona 5. The only thing that has me hesitant on Persona 5 doing God of War is because Persona 5, I looked on the how long to beat, and the main story
80
is
hours.
90 hours.
Yeah, that's a doozy.
And I want to play that, like I really do. But if God of War, which is 20, and I could bang that out in like 2 weeks maybe, because I'm gonna be playing Persona 5 for probably the rest of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of wondering if that's where I want to go. I really want to play it though, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I'm debating between those two, and then after I finish all those PS4 games, I'm gonna get Bloodborne and try and play Bloodborne. I kind of, for whatever reason, was listening to Kotaku Split Screen talk about the Dark Soul games and stuff like that. They're not my type of game, but something about me, the competitiveness in me, is like, I want to beat it.
That's how
hate it, so I can be like, yeah, I beat those games on podcast to you guys, and be like, yeah, they're all right.
That's how I felt about Sekiro. Like, everyone talking about how hard it is, and I was like, I have to beat this game. I haven't, but
yeah,
I don't want to leave it hanging as an unfinished game. You know, I don't even know if I'll go back to it at this point. It's been so long since I've played it, but
yeah. So I'm debating on maybe doing Bloodborne and then Dark Souls trilogy playthrough at some point.
Nice.
If I have the time to do it, if Persona 5 doesn't make me lose all of my life. So
yeah.
There's some things that I'm debating on. I think me considering Dark Souls is a big development.
Yes, it is.
But
absolutely.
Yeah, other than that, I'm gonna pick between God of War and Persona 5, and who knows.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Corey?
Nothing else for me.
Just Fell Seal, huh?
Yes, sir.
Are you going to play Outer Wilds?
Probably at some point.
Yeah. So good. I can't wait to play it again. Okay. Anything else? I think we're good. I don't believe we have any feedback this week.
Boo.
So, yeah, I wanted to say, people, so that you got to send in feedback. Jake's been carrying the feedback segment for a few weeks now. Tate actually wrote in because I emailed everybody about the game giveaway games so I can get those sent out, and he said he's been super busy, and it really has been a very busy time of year. So I'm assuming that's why.
Yeah.
I haven't had much if any free time. So
if it's the games that we have, we'll re-up to Humble Monthly and get some new games in there.
Yeah, they're not writing in feedback because they don't want to win the game giveaway.
That would be pretty funny.
That would be really funny.
I'm telling you, you gotta temper the expectations. Start calling it game giveaway from our pile of junk.
Pile of junk. Yeah, it's not entirely pile of junk though. There's some games that I would add to my Steam library.
Yeah, but it's mostly
junk. Mostly
Let's
junk. Yes, that's fair.
I'm gonna be honest. I want you guys to both go in there and find a game that you're like, this is a really good game that's left.
I'll do it right now.
Oh, I'm sure there's a bunch.
I'm calling it up.
I go through the list because I help with the game giveaway. And I'm
that's true. Steam World Heist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
That was so 2012.
Yeah. Mirror's Edge is good.
Beginner's Guide, Galaxy.
Okay.
There's a couple. Warhammer, End Times, Vermintide supposed to be good.
Fez is still on there. The Swapper, right?
The Swapper's on there. That's one I sent out for people. Punch
Thomas
Club's okay.
Was Alone, Mirror's Edge, Outlast, On the Sea.
Okay. You guys are right.
Mass Effect 2. Half Minute Hero, The Second Coming.
Banner Saga, Monaco.
Come up a few times. Yeah, there's some okay stuff in there. But
Rocket League still on there, right?
Really?
No, I don't think so.
Last on the list? Oh, wait. Maybe I'm looking... Where do you have the most updated list?
And on my Evernote. Probably a lot of the games you have on yours are gone, Corey.
That's funny.
So, anyway, yeah. No feedback, so next week's episode is going to be our E3 recap. Lots of stuff to cover, I'm sure. That'll be Wednesday night as usual. After that, maybe... I don't know what days are, but I would like to do an episode on Outer Wilds. As for game purchases, at the end of this month, Mario Maker 2 is coming out, which I plan on playing a lot of. I'm really looking forward to that one. So, I'm hoping a few like indies pop too that I want to get, that I have to buy immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it, and there doesn't seem to be too many. Like, I'm probably getting Mario Maker and maybe Crash Team Racing, but other than that,
yeah, I feel like it's a pretty light summer so far. Nintendo has a game every month, which is good. Fire Emblem's coming out in July, and Astral Chain is coming out in August, so that'll be good.
I don't hate that it's been light either, though.
Yeah. It's been easier on the wallet.
Definitely.
So, I also think when Mario Maker, the Friday that Mario Maker comes out, I'll probably stream that night. Build themed levels or something. Just because I'm really pumped about Mario Maker.
Looks awesome. It really does.
Yeah, I watched the Digital Foundry footage on it, and they were really impressed with the optimization of the different game engines and stuff on it. Even the old ones, how well optimized they looked on the Nintendo Switch. And the Super Mario 3D World version is like a little bit different even. Like you have to make a specific Super Mario 3D World levels. You can't transition any of the older levels into the Mario 3D World one. Mm-hmm. It's its own separate thing, which is fine and cool. So, anything else, guys? No?
I don't think so, no.
All right. I think that's everything. That'll do it for episode 411 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
I'm Will.
Corey.
Thanks for listening, and get out of my basement.